Good morning, everybody. Today is, what is today? It's July 14th, 8:43 a.m. Pacific Time, out here on the West Coast in Washington State. Today, on our typical Tuesday video, I'm going to discuss words are powerful. The words that you use have significant impact on whether or not you're enjoying your fitness experience or dreading it and finding it terrible. And just certain ways to frame workouts, times, and experiences so that once again you enjoy what you're doing. And this is all based upon over the last couple of weeks. Just I pay attention to how people post things and what they say, and I think that people are a bit too hard on themselves. I don't think they give themselves enough credit, and so hopefully we're going to have a little bit of fun and reframe some conversations. So the first thing that caught my mind was, I don't know, sometime in the last couple weeks, we did that nasty workout, all credit where credit is due, that Chris Spieler programmed, and I love it. So I've stolen it several times and given him credit for programming it, and we do it at Linchpin. It's the 5 rounds for time, 15 kettlebell swings, 15 burpees. Beautiful couplet. Just gorgeous and disgusting all at the same time. And that's done American swings with the 70-pound bell for the gentlemen and the 53-pound bell for the women, and just regular burpees, not over anything. Just simple, effective, and nasty. And so people, had the whole range of experiences on that workout, right? Everything from new PRs to matched my last time to did a little bit worse to whatever. But there's one person who shall remain nameless because this could be any number of people. Probably applies to a lot of folks watching this. So I also gave like the compare to time, right? Of whenever the last time was that we did this workout so that you could go back and compare your data if you want. My goal in giving the compare to times is not to create psychological trauma for anybody if you don't happen to set a new personal best. It's just so you can track your data. That's literally it. The clock is wonderful, and the clock is evil and mean and depresses people all at the same time. So this individual, they wrote that when they most recently did this workout, the kettlebell swings and the burpees, they did it in 11 minutes and 12 seconds. They sadly noted that the last time they did it, whenever that was, 3 or 4 months ago, excuse me, I misspoke. When they did it this time, they did it in 11 minutes and 32 seconds. 11 minutes and 32 seconds. When they did it 3 or 4 months ago, they did it in 11 minutes and 12 seconds. So they were 20 seconds slower this time that they did the workout. And that, little sad face emoji, they were not happy. And that was the context and the words that they chose, like, bummed out, 20 seconds slower than last time, etc., etc. True. Okay, first of all, that's true. The clock doesn't lie. This time was 20 seconds slower than the other. But what I don't think that's fair for somebody to beat themselves up about it, because I've said this before, the workout's the same, right? The workout's the same as we did last time. 15 swings, 15 burpees. And let's say we did it 3 months ago. While the workout is the same, there's like 25 or 30 other factors that we could say about your life, and all of them are different. What were the 3 workouts that you did before this workout came up last time? What muscles were sore? What muscles weren't sore? How was your nutrition last time? How was your nutrition this time? How has your sleep been for the last 3 days? Has something happened at work that is incredibly stressful and has been weighing on your mind and making you restless? All of these other external environmental factors are most likely different. And the only thing that remains the same is the workout. And yet, if there's 25 variables, one being the workout, the other 24 being other environmental factors, and we change 24 variables and only one remains the same, yeah, every now and then the outcome's going to be different. That seems really obvious. Now, let's be fair. You could also say, okay, yep, gotcha, Pat. Those 24 environmental factors, which are a huge deal in how you perform, from stress to relationships to work to sleep to nutrition to the whole nine yards, to whether you're sore, to whether you're recovered, have you been blowing off rest days, etc. Well, the hope is also that you've been training for another 3 months. And so, just as a human being, we hope that we're fitter. And so, that is supposed to, and that is a powerful factor for sure. And that's why people think, well, this workout came up 3 months later, I should PR. And plenty of folks did. But if you're one of the ones that didn't, it may not be because you are not fitter than you were 3 months ago. I can take somebody who's very fit, has had a great 3 months of training, not feed him well for 3 or 4 days, keep him up at night for 3 or 4 days, then drag him into the gym, and it will not look like they've improved their fitness from 3 months ago. So it doesn't take a lot to mess things up. And here's the other deal. If so and so's time was off by, this is a workout that took them 11 minutes and 32 seconds this time, took them 11 minutes and 12 seconds last time, a difference of 20 seconds. If we're talking 90 seconds or 2 minutes on a workout that's around 11 minutes, then we can actually have a conversation like, oof, yeah, what happened? What's been going on? Like, 2 minutes isn't even like a bad night's sleep. I think you've been slipping. But 20 seconds on this workout, if you actually crunch the numbers of how many, 11 minutes and 12 seconds is 672 seconds. 11 minutes and 32 seconds is 692 seconds. If you crunch those numbers, the difference between those two times is 2%. 2%. That's the time difference between one and the other. And when framed that way, I think it makes people feel better. Feel like, oh wow, geez, I achieved 98% of my all-time PR. Wow, that's pretty darn good. I was within 2% of my all-time PR. That's really darn good. Geez, 2%. You can say it that way. Words are powerful. Or you can say, oh man, that's 20 seconds slower. What a bummer. Both statements are true. 20 seconds slower, or you were only 2% off of your all-time PR. I personally know which one of those two statements is going to make me feel better, make me want to walk into the gym, keep me motivated, etc., etc. And over the course of that workout, 5 rounds of 15 kettlebell swings and 15 burpees, there are 9 transitions. 9 transitions. 20 seconds difference. That's what? Just a fraction. So you took a fraction over 2 seconds more than normal for each transition. That means you set down the kettlebell, and before you started the burpees, you went, oh, 1,000, 1,000. Okay, let's do this. That's it. That's it. If you did that, what I just did there, at each transition, you're 20 seconds slower. I find a hard time saying that just because somebody did that, they just felt like doing it that day. They chalked up their hands once or twice more than they normally did. They allowed themselves a sip of water, whatever it happened to be. And at the end of it, the clock is 20 seconds slower than it was last time. I don't think that's a day that you should be filled with despair and sadness based over your performance. Like I said, I would choose to frame that as when you actually crunch the numbers, those two times are within 2% of each other. It's a great day in the gym. It's a fantastic day in the gym. You're walking around at just 98% of your all-time best, even though all those other environmental factors are different. I consider that a huge win. The other story that caught my attention as well is we did another workout that was like a Northwest Regional event. I want to say Northwest Regional event number 1. The beautiful workout, couplet. 3 rounds for time, 10 overhead squats. It's 135 for the men, 95 pounds for the women. So 3 rounds for time, 10 overhead squats, 50 double unders. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous workout. Somebody else posted a comment And I will, um, you know, the names have been changed to protect the innocent. I won't say their name, but they wrote this little paragraph, and it was overwhelmingly sad, I guess you could say. They're like, oh man, did this workout, and this is a workout they would have done before. And like, I was slower than last time, and just, it wasn't happy. And they let off with, I was slower than last time, bummed out. Well, then, if you continue reading what they wrote, here's the deal. Come to find out, last time that they did the workout, they had to scale the workout significantly because, scaling is cool and we're all progressing for fitness. So they didn't use 135 or 95 on the barbell last time for overhead squats. And last time, they could not do double unders. So they had to do single unders. So they got a time, last time we did this workout, at a lighter loading and doing single unders instead of double unders. And then they did this workout again. They had improved so much that they put 20 pounds more on the overhead squat and were actually able to do double unders instead of single unders. And the time on the clock was slower. Well, first of all, that should be a huge congratulatory deal. You added 20 pounds to the overhead squat weight that previously when we did this, you weren't even capable of doing that. So you've progressed tremendously. 20 pounds more on the overhead squat, and then now you've graduated from doing single unders to doing double unders. And if you're new to double unders, we can assume that yes, you're starting to put them into your workouts, but there's probably a fair amount of trips that are occurring. Even after 15 years, I have my fair amount of trips. So the two workouts, aren't even the same workout as far as I'm concerned. Yes, they both involve jumping rope. Yes, they both involve overhead squats. But one involves single unders, one involves double unders, and then we have a 20-pound difference on the overhead squat. It's a totally different workout. A 100% utterly and completely different workout. And so whatever that old time this person had that was quote unquote faster, well, it was faster on a different workout. Faster with an overhead squat that was 20 pounds lighter, and faster doing single unders instead of double unders. So that's its own standalone workout. Now when you add 20 pounds to the overhead squat and you do double unders, as far as I'm concerned, this is a new benchmark workout for you that you have never done before in your life. Period, end of story. And so whatever time you got for this workout, now is your time moving forward. That is, if you don't change anything else about it. If you repeat the same workout, then it's a valid time. But if you change something involving the workout, you can't compare the two times. And it's certainly not fair to yourself to say, oh man, I'm slower than I was last time, and not realize you should be jumping for joy because of your skill progression of now being able to do double unders and your strength increase on the overhead squat. And so again, I think words are very powerful, and I think that was something which should have been cause for incredible celebration and not somebody just being a bit hard on themselves. And I'll give one more example, and this could apply to anything. We're all guilty of this, right? Because we love the clock, we love a personal best, we love whatever, and we can be very binary. I was either better or I wasn't. Period, end of story. And I don't think that's a good way for most people to love working out and to stay motivated for a decade. Let's take a workout like Cindy. So there's 30 repetitions in every round of Cindy. You've got 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 air squats. So you've got 30 repetitions total. I'll see every now and then somebody maybe does, I don't know, maybe their lifetime best on Cindy was 21 rounds. Okay? Great score. And, I don't know, a few months go by, Cindy pops up, they do Cindy, and they're like, hey, my best was 21, here we go. And then boom, they get 20 rounds on that. All right, so they're a round below whatever it happened to be. Those two scores, a 21 rounds on Cindy and a 20 rounds on Cindy, are very close. Again, I did the math for you. So, 21 rounds of Cindy is 630 total repetitions. 20 rounds of Cindy is 600 even. Those two numbers, the difference between 21 rounds of Cindy or 20 rounds of Cindy is 5%. It's a 5% difference over the course of all that work. So again, you can either say that you were off by a round of your lifetime PR, or you were within 95%. You were 95% of your best ever. You were within 5% of your best ever. So once again, words are powerful, and I will even go a step further. It would be interesting also, and I think it would help people's psyche if, instead of continually comparing to your best ever fill in the blank, your best ever 5K, your best ever deadlift, your best ever whatever, if you had tracked all of your whatever events it happened to be since the beginning of time, you'd get a different stimulus. So for example, let's say this individual had been doing CrossFit for 5 years. They did Cindy once a year. Okay, so they were a total newbie 5 years ago. They're a veteran now, 5 years in. They've done Cindy once a year, and this was going to be their sixth Cindy, okay? Well, and I made these numbers up, but I made these numbers up based upon a tremendous amount of experience in CrossFit for the last 15 years. So let's say the first time that somebody did Cindy 5 years ago, they got 11 rounds. Year 2, 13 rounds. Year 3, 15 rounds. Year 4, 18 rounds. And year 5, they set their all-time PR at 21 rounds. Great, fantastic. Now what everybody wants to do is only compare to that best ever, right? Only compare to the 21 rounds. But if you added up all those scores, remember your good old school high school, college math, very simple, right? Add them up and then divide them. So if we added up an 11, a 13, a 15, an 18, and a 21, 5 different scores, added them up, divided them by 5, this individual's average Cindy score over the course of their life is 15.6 rounds. That's their average Cindy score. If you take every Cindy that they've ever done, it averages out to 15.6 rounds. Well, now, when they happen to do Cindy and they get 20 rounds, you've got a couple ways to look at it. You can either say, I got 20 rounds of Cindy. My best ever is 21 rounds. Dang it! I'm 1 round off. I'm 1 round off from my best. Or you can say, man, I've been doing this CrossFit game for about 5 years, on average. My Cindy score is about 15.6. I got 20 rounds today. That's really good. That's great. Things are going fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone loves to chase PRs, and you will get PRs. But if you think every time that you back squat, you'll PR. Every time you strict shoulder press, you'll PR. Every time you do an 800-meter run, you're going to PR. Every single solitary time that it pops up, well, that you can't play that game for your whole life. And so if that's the only thing in the world that makes you happy or feels like things are going in the right direction, that road will eventually end. And it just depends upon whether you're 25, 35, 45, 55, or 65. But it will end. There will come a day, if you work out for your entire life, that, maybe you started CrossFit when you're 25 and you're like, I'm going to keep going until I'm 75 years old. I'll just scale when I need to. Well, you won't be deadlifting more weight at 75 pounds than you did at 35. So at 75 years old than you did at 35 years old. You just won't. And so when that day comes and the PRs aren't quite as frequent, and now you hate training and you're beating yourself up about it, I think you're in for a very tough road. So again, point being, words are powerful. Context and nuanced details are critically important. And how you frame your progress, I think, can be monumental in keeping you fired up and walking into the gym, or beating yourself up unnecessarily mentally anyway. So that's it. That's all I got. I'm going to continue just to sip my coffee. Let's see here. Let's see if I missed anything. Let me scroll through these comments here. A lot of waves waving right back at you. Let's see. Coaching nerd, yeah, I got to agree. Exactly. Back when we were talking about the kettlebell swing and the burpee workout, 20 seconds over an 11-minute workout is nothing. Robert, I like to say that I'm 2 months older than the last time I did this workout, so I might be slower. That's fantastic. Let's see. Brats101928 is the handle. Do you think this topic basically can be an issue in CrossFit in general when it comes to being too worried about the clock and not enough about technique, muscle feel, and loading? Lots of ways to progress. Yes and no. Yes and no. I get your point. I get your point, what you're saying. I don't think it's an issue in CrossFit. Because I do CrossFit and we're talking about it and plenty of other people do as well. I don't think it's a CrossFit issue. It's a human being issue and how human beings perceive the world, perceive themselves, and frame certain conversations. CrossFit is nothing more than a training methodology, the most effective and efficient training methodology in the world, but it is a training methodology, and it's going to tell you in plain terms what works and what doesn't work. And the clock is a critical component in that methodology and in driving fitness forward. And so, it's not CrossFit is just going to tell you what is effective. It's not necessarily CrossFit's duty to then have a discussion of psychology of the human mind and how to deal with the clock. That's what coaches and trainers are for. And I think it's just something that comes with a bit of time and a bit of perspective. And also, you mentioned some things about not enough worrying about technique, muscle feel, and loading. And I don't think that necessarily is the case either. All of those things are topics that we've chatted about before, which is if you are pursuing a faster time on the clock at the expense of all else, such as one of the things that you mentioned being technique, then you are just doing something incorrect. That is not the CrossFit methodology. The CrossFit methodology is not pursuit of a faster time or a heavier load at the utter and complete expense of all else. That's not it. I think that is something which human beings have started doing, and which is a misconception regarding what should be just pure classic CrossFit methodology. So, but you are correct, in what you're saying there. Like, there are multiple ways to progress that don't involve just the clock. Improving your technique, that's progression, So there's other ways that you can improve without just worrying about the clock. Let's see. Very similar. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. Have a wonderful day. Today's 7x1 back squat. I'm going to get out there in a bit and back squat, and whatever it is, it is. If it's a PR, fantastic. If it's not, oh well. I get into the gym, I warmed up, I lifted what felt heavy that day, I go home. Life's good. Have a great day, and we'll talk again.